I love a good sample. Who doesn't love a good sample? Flipping through my samples gives me huge inspiration to write new stuff. However, there is a catch. YouTube Content ID won't tolerate it. And YouTube Content ID is a big part of how you can get paid from streaming your music. I had carefully scoped out all the distributors for what percentage they take from YouTube streaming, and I found the one I wanted to go with. Come time to upload, there it is. The warning that YouTube Content ID is not compatible with samples, even if legitimately acquired with proof of licenses and all that. If you do not make the sounds personally, it's a no-go. This reality really pushed me into learning something I'd wanted to learn anyway, and that was how to make my own samples and how to load them up so that they're playable on a MIDI keyboard. I did begin to figure this out, so let's learn this together and level up. I found some things to make sounds with. This. Ooh. Let's make some samples. Let's start up a new Cakewalk project called Sample Party. Check, check. 1, 2. Check. Good, we have levels. All right. Put the Voxango recorder on this so you can hear my computer sound as well. Let's do a little recording of some of the garbage that I picked up off the street. Which stick is better? A piece 2x4. Coconut cup. It's good to name. Good to name things as you go along. Vase. That's cool. It reminds me of like gamelan bells. Screw off. What? That's gorgeous. It's flower pot. Sounds pretty dope. What I'm going to do now is to pick out the exact thing that I want to be the sample. So I'm going to cut out all of the silence in front of the sound and all of the silence after the sound. So it's just the sound. These are all the files that I made off of the random stuff that I picked up. So let's take this bass gamelan one. You solo the track that you want to make the sample out of. Which one's nice? That's a good one. Just highlight this little section. You see this selector up here, this in the green. I can trim that down even more. Then, file, export, audio. Pick your export folder. I have this DIY samples folder. Gamelan vase. Time selection. See this range? This is important, right? Otherwise you'll end up rendering the whole project. Export. Yay, there it is. Dun, 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 dun. So let's take that sample and make it playable on a MIDI keyboard. I downloaded a sampler instrument called Grace. It's free, and there's a lot of different sampler instruments out there. I will link to a nice article that lays out a few of them so you can decide what might work for you. This one just seemed like the most simple and straightforward, and it still has a lot of parameters to play with. Insert instrument. Grace. So it should show up just like any other VST instrument. So I have my plugins over here and instruments. It's actually a VST2. Grace right there next to Neon. And I can also just pull it in this way. attach it to my MPK Mini. That's my MIDI controller. And let's open up Grace. This is the interface. I'm going to go back to my media sample and that sample we just did. I'm going to pull that into this field here. This is important. Actually getting the right note to map it to. Sample map, see how it's on that. I might actually need to remap it. So let's first find out what note that is, because I don't think that's correct. That might be close enough. What is that? C, D, E. E. So to assign it to the E, let's figure out how to do that. I'm actually holding it down on my keyboard while I drag this in. Let's see if that works. Yes, it worked. Woo! Now it should be in tune and available as kind of its own instrument. And there's lots of parameters to tweak there also. And you can make it loop. It's a really long loop. Or set the loop to be shorter, so it would be. If you wanted to do that. So there's lots to play with here, and I find it really inspiring to be able to make my own samples, and then YouTube Content ID shouldn't give me any trouble. If you like this kind of thing, give a thumbs up and subscribe, and until then, have a great week. Bye for now.